To order the meeting of the CCSD59 Board of Education. It is Wednesday, March 11th. If I could have Secretary Eddie call the roll.
Mr. Bookler?
Here.
Ms. Zach?
Present.
Ms. Eddy, present. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Kitzinger?
Here.
Ms. Notini?
Here.
Mr. Chesney?
Here. All right, next up, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have comments and suggestions from the public. We don't have anybody sign up. Does anybody wish to address the board tonight? Good.
Hi, I'm Mindy Larkin. I have kids at Ridge and Grove. Just one here. There we go. Okay. Hi. Mindy Larkin. I have kids at Ridge and Grove. Just wanted to speak on the walkout really quick. In general, I really appreciate that the district allowed for that to happen. I know it's kind of weird, but I think it adheres to the principles of, just for free expression. And I know it was politically charged, but allowed it to happen. It would have been nice, just a little bit more notice or communication with parents, especially in regard to, I was not aware that we could sign the kids out for that. Again, it was very emphasis on student-led, so I just assumed that would be facilitated in that way. Maybe it also would have been nice if parents could have been allowed to volunteer to escort. I mean, my daughter, God bless, she was immediately back because she didn't want to get in trouble. But I know some kids took advantage of it. Perhaps if there was more, parents there to shepherd the kids, there wouldn't have been as many issues, because I didn't want that to sully ultimately the message of what the kids were trying to do. My other comment is just with my daughter going between 8th and then high school next year, the communication between District 59 and 14 I felt has been lacking at times. For example, with the pre-ACT, I don't think the kids fully understood the implications. It decides what classes they're put in. I don't think the kids fully understood that, or even preparation classes for the pre-ACT. They were just thrown into it. So things like that. So just something to take an advice on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Deb Benke, parent of Ridge and Grove kids. I just wanted to piggyback off of what Mindy said regarding the walkouts. I think when the email came out from the school, if they would have maybe stated if there were any parent volunteers that wanted to be present to ensure the safety, not so much as in support or against their walkout. I think that would have been better supervised, because from my understanding, the walkout wasn't fully supervised by staff the whole time or any adults. And then another thing, I think there should have been a pre-planned route for the students. Say go down Elk Grove Boulevard to Arlington Heights Road, come back down JFK Boulevard. So it would just been one little loop, and anyone that deviated from that would have been detention or whatever other consequence. But that's essentially it. Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, if nobody else, we can move on to our no board presentation. So superintendent updates.
All right, here we go. I'm sitting in tonight for Dr. Bresnan. She's homesick, and I'm going to speak. All right, very nice. All right, for the district, actually, we have our North Cook audit is completed, but they'll be out next Tuesday for a site visit. We actually also have an English learner audit that's also been completed, but they'll be out for a site visit April 1st and 2nd. We've had some communications go out, the Rupley 5th grade heritage project, and some safety week videos that went out based on last week. From me, Associate Soup, 5 Essentials survey closes March 13th. Parents, you can still submit your surveys, so please do so. We've had, I think our lowest rate for students is 97%. I think we've had 10 schools hit 100%. So great job from our staff at our schools, leaders and staff, and all of our kids who have completed that. And also staff, you can still complete your survey. So please do so.
Excuse me, Tom, I didn't mean
yes.
to interrupt, but the North Cook audit, can you tell us what the scope
So
of that is?
every 4 years, North Cook is the North Cook Intermediate Service Center. Sorry. Basically, they're the regional office of education for the area. They come out and do an audit of making sure all of our policies are in alignment. The main things they look at are related to personnel records, which is a major part of it. They do a review of our professional learning. They also do some homeless review pieces and just make sure all of the expectations of the district are in alignment. So they make sure our policies are correct. We've spent probably the last 2 months and really Maribel's done and Norma Saucedo from the front desk have done a great job of accumulating all these records from the department leads and getting them into a document database, and then they go through all of those pieces and make sure we're in alignment, and then we get a report back which the board will see after that's completed. The English learner piece is very similar. The state has all of these expectations and we provide evidence that we're in alignment with that, and they go through those pieces and they complete a site visit as part of that. The English learner piece, actually, it's the first time we've ever been audited in my time here in the district on the English learner side. I don't know how many of those they do on an annual basis, but North Cook, it's every 4 years automatically. Great question. State testing's underway. So at the junior highs, IR math and reading started earlier this week, and at the elementaries, 5th graders are taking science. And then we have our final Institute Day of the year next Tuesday also. So next Tuesday will be a very busy day here in the district. Business services, we just had a pre-committee of the whole where we talked about transportation and finances and facilities. So we had a lot. So we let Mosen take the day off for this one. Curriculum and instruction, also lots of really curriculum instruction runs facilitates so many sessions, so they're busy finalizing preparations for the Institute Day. Also planning for next year for curriculum instruction planning, and then prepping our e-learning renewal process. As you know, we've periodically used an e-learning day, so there is a process they have to go through to get our plan approved. So we'll have some discussion and public hearing and approval that goes through. That's an annual basis, right, Susan? Every 3 years. Thank you. HR, busy time of year with the resource allocation planning. HR has been meeting with building department leaders, looking for new known openings, retirements, resignations, anything we have out there, looking at enrollment requirements, and really going through the whole process. Also working closely with Dr. Galini, our incoming superintendent, and making sure our staffing plans are set and we're filling any open or available positions. Also, some recruitment efforts are underway. I actually just learned looking at this and hearing from Mr. Vittori earlier today that yesterday he was at Elmhurst University for a new educator administrator panel that included some former District 59 students. And looks like this Saturday we'll be out at North Cook and ISA for the North Cook Job Fair. And then also, as I said, the huge part of the North Cook audit is reviewing personnel files, doing some final preps for that. Student services and support. Panorama surveys are complete and shared. I think there's a big piece of that in the Friday board update. Safety Week was very successful thanks to our student staff and first responders. Last Thursday here in the boardroom was the family night that welcomed 35 families, was live streamed and recorded, and that was related to attendance. And this week we've had Corwin Education out here to work on our PLC Plus, visiting elementary and early learning lead activators for personalized learning. Technology and innovation, Skyward Q, that's our student information system. We'll be rolling out a new system next year. So our innovative learning staff are preparing a PLT to roll out on April 1st. Chance for all of our staff to get a handle and start learning on that. Our Lenovo duets, still working on that piece. Ben had a visit with Google, or is having a visit with Google, and Lenovo coming up here soon, and also doing some network maintenance and upgrades, ongoing work to be more efficient and security and uptime. And I stumbled through that quite well. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Tom.
All right.
Next, we have our consent agenda. I know we have a couple key positions that we'll be considering in this. So once we consider and vote on it, we'll give you the opportunity to introduce them.
For a minute.
Okay. All right. So if I could get does anybody need anything pulled from the consent agenda? If not, if I could get a motion to approve item 6.01 through 6.05.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved in second. If
Yeah, I'll
there's
second.
no questions, we can have a vote.
Ms. Notini? Aye. Mr. Chesney?
Aye.
Mr. Bookler?
Aye.
Ms. Sack?
Aye.
Miss Eddy? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
And Ms. Kitzinger?
Aye.
All right. The motion is approved.
All right. So we actually have 3 individuals in the room, one new to District 59 and 2 individuals taking on new positions. So I'm going to start with Greg Volan. Greg's going to be our new Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Business Operations. Greg, please have a stand up. Greg is joining us from North Chicago, where he's currently the Director of Finance, I believe, if that's correct, and has many years of experience in the business office, both in North Chicago and CPS. So welcome to the district. Congratulations. All right, let's give him another round of applause. Then we want to recognize Dr. Nicole Robinson, who is our currently the Executive Director of Curriculum Instruction, but is moving into the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction position starting July 1 here in District 59. Congratulations, Nicole. Any words for the group?
I'm just honored to be in this position and can't wait to start good work and work with this team more closely and the board more closely. So thank you so much.
All right, congratulations, Nicole. Yay. Thank you. And then we keep growing the Nicoles here in District 59. And finally, we have Nicole Maluski. She's currently our assistant principal at Juliet Low, but next year will be taking over as the principal of the Early Learning Center. So, okay, congratulations, Nicole.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for this opportunity. Early childhood is my passion, so I'm so excited to be joining the DLC and the principal role. I've got big shoes to fill with Michelle leaving, but I'm excited for the challenge and ready to do it. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's always exciting when we have internal people move into new positions, but also exciting to have people come from the outside and bring some new ideas and opportunities to the district. So thank you all.
Thank you, Tom. We can move on to our action items. The first one is 7.1, the approval of the school year bus pay fee for 2026-27, which will be 5. If I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moving to second. Any questions? Comments? If not, could we have a vote?
Mr. Chesney?
Aye.
Ms. Claire?
Aye.
Ms. Sack?
Aye.
Miss Eddy? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kitzinger?
Aye.
Ms. Notini?
Aye.
All right, motion's approved. Next, we have 7.2, which is the approval of the Buddy Bunch donation to Ridge Family Center for Learning. We can open that up and get a reading for our kind of a little bit of background.
Sure, I'll make the motion. Be it resolved that on the 11th day of March 2026, the Community Consolidated School District 59 Board of Education approves the donation from David Sears and the Prime Data Center team to purchase a buddy bench at Ridge Family Center for Learning. Be it further resolved that with the approval of this donation of a buddy bench, the superintendent shall communicate to David Sears and the Prime Data Center team in writing expressing the appreciation of the members of the Board of Education and that this donation shall be listed in the official minutes of this meeting.
I'll second.
Move to second. If we could have a vote, please.
Mr. Bookler?
Aye.
Ms. Sack,
Aye.
Ms. Eddy, aye. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Kitzinger,
Aye.
Ms. Noti,
Aye.
and Mr. Chesney.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you for the donation. All right, so next we have item 7.03. It's kind of, all these next three are kind of related, 7.03, 7.04, 7.05. So I'll kind of set these up so then we can consider them. And if anybody else has anything they want to add, we can do so. These are three different items. So we obviously approved Dr. Galini, who's in attendance, his contract very recently to be our next superintendent. That was supposed to start July 1. But Dr. Terry Bresnahan got her next position at the Oak Park School District very recently. So they just approved that last month. So it was kind of serendipitous timing with Dr. Galini being able to transition into our district, work and kind of the plate that Dr. Bresnahan set for our district and the trajectory that we are on right now, upward and onward. And so it's just kind of worked out perfect where she can now, her tenure will end on March 20th. Dr. Galini's will start on March 21st. And that gives him the opportunity to be in district up to 4 days a week as we kind of close out the school year, plan for next school year, and also give Dr. Brand the chance to do the same at her new district in Oak Park. So everything worked out great. Unfortunately, she was sick tonight, so couldn't be here, but we appreciate everything that Dr. Bresnahan did for this district. Led us through COVID, brought in new curriculum, started improving all of our scores. So it's definitely big shoes to fill. We know Dr. Galini is up for it. So we're excited to get to that work. So anybody else has anything they want to say?
Yes, I'd just like to take a moment to honor Dr. Bresnahan for her significant contribution to our district. He came to us when there was much to do and helped us tremendously with swift decisions on curriculum, which have led us on a path of student achievement and growth and have provided a strong foundation for our students. Dr. Bresnahan, I wish you all the best in your future.
I would like to say just a couple of words recognizing somebody else, some other group of people, and that would be TRU and and Ms. Notini for actually putting in quite a bit of work to make all of this happen. It's not easy trying to coordinate between board members, between attorneys, between our current and future superintendents and then attorneys. And they did a lot of work that really, I mean, that's what we got elected for. But it's not something that you imagine how much work it's going to be when you try and go into the Board of Education. So I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all the efforts you guys put in. And I'll add one more thing. I also am very happy Dr. Galini is would be starting earlier, because having an opportunity to jump in the middle of a school year, it's kind of like jumping in deep water to start with, but at the same time, you get to see how things are going before, hey, there's a summer and nothing's happening, right? I mean, there is a lot of things happening, of course, in the admin buildings. We do, I mean, admin building, we do realize it, but there is no dynamics with kids. There is no dynamics with parents, right? So you get a chance to see it before, then you're able to slow down and plan for the next year, right? Which I think it gives Dr. Galini a great perspective as well. So appreciation for doing it and appreciation for working on it. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to, we got together as a group, a few of us, a group of leaders had a chance to honor Terry, and I prepared something and people said it was pretty good. So I'm gonna share it. So I do want to thank Dr. Bresnahan for her leadership, her incredible leadership these last 5 years and all she's given to our student, staff, and families. So when thinking of something to say, I was reminded of a Teddy Roosevelt quote in which he said that credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, who spends themselves in a worthy cause. And for the last 5 years, she's been that person for District 59, stepping into the arena day after day with courage, conviction, and a deep belief in our students and the people who serve them, especially our teachers, staff, and our leaders. And I believe because of her, our district's stronger today. I believe our students are better served, and I know I'm a better leader. So we wish Terry the best of luck in Oak Park. I know they'll be better with her there, and we're ready to move on to the next phase here in District 59. So here we go.
Thank you, Tom. So these three items, one is actually Dr. Galini's been doing a lot of work up to this point. So one of these agreements just kind of pays him for his transitional services when he's been in district, reimburse him. He's traveling in from Texas every time he's here. So that's one of them. The other will be to adjust his contract to start on the 21st of March, which is the first day of spring break. So he'll effectively be in district starting March 30th. And typically Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week, while he's kind of transitioning from Texas up to here. And then the last one would be the mutual separation agreement, where Terry's last day will be that Friday leading into spring break. And then that kind of paves the way for Dr. Galini to pick up from there. So if I could get a motion to approve 7.03, which is the amendment to the performance-based superintendent contract for Dr. Galini.
I'll be happy to read that one.
You don't have to read it, you just say,
Oh, I want to read it.
okay, go for it.
Be it resolved that on the 11th date of March 2026, the Board of Education of Community Consolidated School District 59 hereby approves the amendment to the performance contract attached to the resolution, establishing that the term of Dr. Galini's contract shall begin at day on March 21st, 2026.
Motion, can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, can we have a vote?
Ms. Sack.
Aye.
Ms. Eddy, aye. Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Kitziker.
Aye.
Ms. Notini.
Aye.
Mr. Chesney.
Aye.
Mr. Bookler.
Okay, motion passes. Then we have 7.04, approval of the administrative transitional services agreement with Dr. Brett Galini. If I can get a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved in second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Ms. Eddy, aye. Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Kitziker.
Aye.
Ms. Notini.
Aye.
Mr. Chesney.
Aye.
Mr. Bookler.
Aye.
Ms. Sack.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. If we could, 7.05, if we get a motion to approve the mutual separation
I'll
agreement.
make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Moved in second. If we can get a roll call vote?
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Kitziker.
Aye.
Ms. Notini.
Aye.
Mr. Chesney.
Aye.
Mr. Bookler.
Aye.
Ms. Sack.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right.
Could I make another comment?
Sure.
I also want to say unique opportunity to have your new superintendent come and start for 2.5 months before they were scheduled to start, which is also at the same time, a great opportunity for us as a district to start and hit the ground running, for Dr. Galini to come in. And he said many times to learn the district, we've been to all but 2 buildings so far in the visits. The last 2 days, we've been to 6 different buildings, been to I don't know how many classrooms, got to meet many kids and staff, and really just wonderful opportunity to get to learn the district, get to learn and partner with Dr. Galini. So it is really not part of my experience, but I think a really wonderful opportunity and a way to move things forward in a way that I think, again, helps us hit the ground running in a way that most districts opportunity to do. So from my perspective, we appreciate that opportunity, and to thank Dr. Galini. He's leaving his family for a few months, and that's quite a sacrifice. So thank you, and thank the board.
Thank you, Tom. Well said. All right, so next we have 8.01, discussion item on our mass communication tool recommendation.
We got it all here. Okay. So within the multi-year strategic communications plan that we presented earlier this year in the fall, one piece and focus was really to identify a new mass communications tool that will help us streamline communications with primarily our families and staff, but also our community. So over the past year and a half, my team and I, Brandon, who is operating the cameras, thank you, Brandon, we've been researching many different platform options. And then we narrowed it down to two tools for deeper evaluation, which were Aptigee and Parent Square, which you all may be familiar with. So in that, we wanted to ensure that voice was in the evaluation and selection process. So we created a task force comprised of staff across all job groups and various buildings. And over the last 3 or 4 months, we've had various meetings to really assess current tools, discuss what our needs are as a district, and view demonstrations from both Aptigee and Parent Square. So after further review, the task force unanimously recommends Parent Square as our new unified communications tool, which is really exciting. Brandon and I are very excited about this and agree that it's the best option to move forward with. And it's widely used nationally, but also many neighboring districts use it as well. Which is really great. So it offers a comprehensive, streamlined solution that will strengthen our communication practices. And we're actually reconvening as a task force next week to kind of look at what the rollout plan for that will be. We will do it in a phased approach, which I've connected with a lot of other communication leaders at other districts, and that's how they've done it and recommend it as well. We want to be mindful of what we're rolling out with our staff and everything else they have on their plate. So the plan is really to have it start with district and building leaders in the 2026-27 school year and allow opportunity to train staff throughout the next year and then begin implementing it more district-wide the following year. So with this phased approach, that will impact the Parent Square cost. For the first year, it's just over $15,000, which is actually lower than what we're currently spending on our mass communication tools, School Messenger and SMORE. And then in years 2, 3, and beyond, it will kind of increase as we spread it out through all staff to use. So we are very excited, and it will be an action item on next month's board meeting agenda.
So this is a streamlined platform that's going to replace those two forms.
Yes. So we currently use SMORE to kind of create the newsletter, and then we use School Messenger to send it out. But also the idea is something that we heard in the communications audit that was done, I think 2 years ago. Is that right, Ben? 2 years ago, is that families have many different tools that they were getting communications from the classroom, from the school, from the district. So really the goal will be to have all communications, both one-way and two-way, go through this app.
I think that's a great idea. Sorry.
You're okay.
Great idea. Definitely consolidation of tools is going to first make it easier to manage, and second is going to be easier on the parents and kids and hopefully teachers and everybody involved. I'm curious, is that something that we'll also be using as a board for any sort of communication?
The board will have access to that. So if you have a student in the district, you will of course have your student parent access, but then also there is a level that we can give you for to view all of the communications that are sent out as well. So that's something we'll work with our rep over at Parent Square to identify the board level.
Okay. And the second question, I mean, you mentioned that the first year cost is less than the other two tools combined. What is the other two tools? What are the costs annually?
So School Messenger is about 18,000-ish. These, I don't have the exact. School Messenger is about $18,000 a year, and more is about just over $3 million.
Okay.
So it's probably just around 21, 22.
Okay. I mean, it's a little bit of a bump, but the convenience should make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just having everything be in one place, and there's so many different features of Parent Square, which is also why we want to be cognizant of the rollout plan, because there's so many things you can do in it that I think will really benefit us in a multitude of ways, that we don't want to push that out all at once because it's overwhelming. It's even a lot for us to digest, and we've been sitting with it for a while. So there's just so many more features and capabilities within it. So while it is a little bit more of a cost as the years continue, it's definitely worth it in our opinion.
So if there's more features that we're not releasing right away, any other tools that we can potentially replace with it, or?
So they're more so like they're features that we that will leverage from like the district and school perspective, but I'm just saying for like staff to leverage those features too. We don't want to push that all out at once next year. So we'll train them on all of the different features. It's not something that we necessarily need to like find a replacement for within the next year, if that makes sense.
Okay.
My school district just started phasing that in. So admin it, teachers aren't necessarily using it yet.
Mhm.
That'll be like the next step. So it's like taking each level of how to communicate.
I was just
Okay.
curious if there's like something else we'll be replacing, like, I don't know,
Yeah, kind of
Google-
piggybacking off
Google
his,
Classroom, right? Or
like
something.
not a lot. Some principals still use like Seesaw. We used it a lot during COVID, right?
Mhm.
Some teachers have phased it out. Some admin have phased
Yep,
it out. Some still
exactly.
use it. Is that something we're going to probably?
So yes, that's what the task force will come together and discuss, is what that looks like. We want to be mindful that yes, there are still some people who use Seesaw to communicate, but eventually the idea, to my understanding, Seesaw also has like a classroom component, and so
Mhm.
it won't replace that, but it will replace the direct communication component, just so everything is in one spot. And then Parent Square is nice because it has features that allow parents to decide how they want to receive notifications. So you can have it come instantly, or you can do a digest every night at 6 p.m. So it's not overwhelming them, and they can get it as they kind of see fit. Yeah. Any other questions?
No, thank you for all your work
Yeah.
investigating all the different programs. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, we're really excited, and we look forward to starting to roll it out. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Mosen with our transportation bid. Unless Greg's ready to jump in.
Can you guys hear me? The state law requires that anytime we have a bid tabulation is a result. Although there is no requirement to select in transportation and food service the lowest, because you have to look at all the factors such as quality of service and so on. Fortunately, we have a lowest responsible bidder who is also highly qualified. So right now, we are at this stage not making a recommendation. This is just discussion. Recommendation is next month. But if you were to look at the tabulation sheet, and if Ben, if you can go on the right side, Ben is my permanent PowerPoint presentation guy.
Oh,
so thank you very
permanent,
much.
permanent.
At this
Interesting.
time you're-
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, so if you look at
Ben's your interim.
so if you look at, and if we can scroll down, because I'm going to go in total, I don't want to spend too much time on it. The total bid for Durham is the lowest at 22 million and some change. The highest one was for student, and somewhere in our existing service providers, Safeway. There were many requirements in terms of ability, financial stability, safety factor, all those things. Durham has fulfilled all those requirements. We've checked the references, we've checked the insurance requirements, the documentation we asked for bid bonds, and all the submission is there. So we have done, we are going to make a recommendation next month. In between this time period, we are also making sure there is coordination between our prospective, I'm using the word prospective candidate or vendor, and existing, to make sure there is least disruption in the bus drivers, and encourage or facilitating a meeting in our district to make sure that the drivers of our existing vendor are given a preference with an understanding that they need to finish the year without disruption of service. The powers to be in the district have given us an okay, so tomorrow that's going to be our first phone call to start the process. The award will take place at the next board meeting. The results, I won't read the individual, but I'll focus on the transportation PowerPoint. If you can please help me with that. The next slide. This is what our fleet utilization is. We have 70 existing, but counting the 8 buses which we have transferred to the NSSCO transportation. Maribel and the people at NSSCO did a fabulous job of making the transition to a point where we didn't get a single phone call about why is my bus not there. Everybody worked very hard to make this happen. So it looked like very seamless and effortless in a way, but a lot of people were behind the scene doing a wonderful job. So that went very smoothly. We don't want any disruption during the year. So although we have some contingency plan, we are expecting that we will finish here with safe way without any disruption. Fleet utilization, we need to look at how many buses we really use. We use 70, but you see that 110. I'll minus 8 from NSSCO. The remaining buses, if you see 16 twice, and 15 are the same buses which are used during our program. So those are the same buses. We are not getting additional buses. And so the total bus is 70. We can make some further improvements on it, but some of the improvements come with higher capacity, but we right now have a medium capacity utilization inside the bus. So we have to be careful about timelines. We have to be careful about the capacity. And we also have to be efficient because we need to preserve our resources for the programs. So impact in the classroom should be the last one to be impacted on the financial challenges any school district faces. And right now in the current financial environment, every school district has challenges. And we want to be fully prepared. Next slide. This is the breakdown of our fleet usage. I would call it relatively efficient in terms of tiers. There are only 3 routes, with the exception of the 8 routes which were single tier in our school district, which is good planning, which means as using the first bus for junior high and Ridge, then the same buses are used for our elementary. It would be perfect alignment if both of them were 37 and 37. But there are more students riding, and we have also single tier buses. And the purpose is not that that's an inefficient model. We are doing district-wide transportation at Claremont for our Polish school. So otherwise, everything would have been double or triple tiered. Now, we also have options for triple tier, which we'll talk about later, but next slide. So first, our transportation cost was already high. High means not in the unit price as much as we're transporting a lot of kids, and we're transporting a lot of children outside the attendance center. That's at least for the time being given. But how can we keep on supporting a expensive program which is now going to be 18.77% more? But the reason this 18.77% is because we are catching up with a relatively attractive deal from our existing vendor. And we need to be careful the growth beyond the rate of CPI adjusted for flat or reduction other places. So if the revenue growth is around 2.3, 2.4, and expenditure in any line item are growing, it has to come out of somewhere. And that somewhere is the very big challenge, because we always want to protect everything, especially the direct services to students in the classroom. So we'll have to look for ways to become more efficient. The next slide will also share with you as to how the NSSCO, we were able to get really transferred to Richley with the least headache. At the same time, we are going to capture a relatively more efficient cost factor going forward next year. The current rate is slightly higher than what the Safeway rate was, but Safeway's contract is expiring and the new contract is coming at a much, much higher rate. This is a good time for me to share with you when you look at the Richley rate. There are very few bus companies in Illinois in this region. It is very challenging for new companies to come up. Safeway was a new company. So we had a very strong part three. The number 3 was Cook, Illinois in this region. So it's First Student, Durham, and Cook, Illinois. Cook, Illinois Special Education Transportation Division is Richley. They were at $380 or so this year. Next year is going to be like $390. The bid from their parent company for our school district was like $560 or something like that. That's a very significant increase. So if there was no consolidation, I'm sure they would have bidded for our school district. And that is a concern in the long run. It's become a monopoly, and now they've caught up. We should still expect a rate increase of 4 or 5% with a provision or escalated for gas price increase, because all the bids in the bus transportation have a decelerator or an escalator for transportation gas prices, because they can go up and down. But this has become an automatic. So that's a challenge. So we're dealing with this through at the legislative level. I'm not sure something is going to happen, but at least we want to be proactive. So this is just a statement I'm making now. If we go to the next slide, this is Richley's rate. As you can see, next year's our rates are going to be in the 500. But for the 8 routes of NSSCO, we are at a much lower rate with Richley, because that's an existing contract with NSSCO and we're part of NSSCO. So not only we had a minor impact this year because Richley is slightly higher this year, but the service was fabulous, and we will get the financial benefit next year for the 8 routes. We have 3 private facility routes. Although they are in the current bid, we will be talking to the vendors to see if those could be pooled with other school districts. If our private facility students are going to Elgin, or if they're going to Chicago, or if they're going 20, 30 miles, there is no sense for us to have our kids on one bus, Arlington's students on the other of the bus, and Mount Prospect students on another third bus. So we need to start that process also, because it's one bus, one rider. Bus can be anywhere from $90,000 a year. So we want to make sure we're looking for all ways to become more efficient in that area. The next slide. One of the opportunities in business office, I'll never propose anything till it gets fully vetted by the instructional leadership and the cabinet, because I'm looking from one dimension. My dimension is money. It's not money, it's as much as resource utilization, so we can have money in the classroom as opposed to in the bus. But we always want to make sure that no recommendation even floats out there till we have a discussion. So our current transportation at the current rate for our early child pre-K program is close to about $1.4 million. This current rate with old schedule, the old schedule means is before we made the change in our starting time, our cost was close to about $650,000. The schedule change, although it was beneficial and it has instructional value, I wanted to quantify and look at the academic return on investment. And my job is to really give that to the instructional leadership, the superintendent and the assistant superintendent for instruction, everybody, because they are the ones who need to really say that makes sense or not make sense. So if the schedule change cost about 775,000. Now, based on the new rate, which would be the next slide, the rate is going to be in $1.6 million for the new rate and existing new schedule. I say new means the one we implemented in 23-24. If we go back to the old schedule, which was pre-23-24, we could cut cost by 954,000. And because we are using the same fleet, which is currently being used, there will be an offset reduction in that area of about 294,000. Now that's a gross saving of 294 because some of it is reduction of reimbursement from special education mandated categorical. But either way, the savings range could be anywhere from $800 to $1 million. But like I said, we are not implementing anything. This is a resource information for the instructional leadership to see if that is worth it for us to implement this year, next year, or not at all.
Wilson, can I ask if the current bids we have, are they assuming one or the other of these scenarios, or could they do both?
It is always a challenge when you change something drastically. So at the mandatory pre-bid meeting, I told that the district is currently evaluating, but we still may have some leverage before signing next month. But my plan is, after having the discussion, to make sure that we have a multi-year option to make changes in that area. And, it may be that we'll keep the same schedule, but we at least want that option open. So, next. That's the last slide, so I'll spare you all the detail. This is really a picture of the 294,000 you saw our savings in the special ed area, because we'll be using the same vehicle. So the three routes you saw, which were single tier, will become double tier. Those are the ones which are, I'll call it round. And the yellow will become triple tier, which is really very efficient. The 4th tier is only possible if you have a unit district and a high school, which starts much earlier. Now, one thing, when you have a transportation company, which is the same company as the high school, there are much more efficiencies and even better resources for the bus company on the same site. Durham probably was aggressive. They met our requirement of having a terminal within 8 miles of our district. And the reason I did it, if I put down within our district, the bid from other people would not be as aggressive, because you can't get a terminal when you're submitting a bid. So we gave them some leeway. They're already in the final stages of signing up for a base location on Oakton Avenue near Friendship School, which is in a very nice area for being central in our school district. They're doing it not just for us. Their expectation is they're doing a bid for 214 also. Now, in my previous life, I've done some joint bids with the high school, but high schools are the big boys, so many times, because they have to satisfy the needs of other I don't want to use the word feeder district, but other sending districts. So they can't align just with us and not other school districts. So, and this requires schedule changes at the high school also, and requires schedule changes at us. And as you know, schedule changes for people who are working, it becomes very challenging. That's it for my presentation. So this is preliminary. The next one will really be a recommendation for approval at the next board meeting.
So next board meeting, you'll recommend to approve the following board meeting, or next board meeting would be when we approve?
You will be approving it. This is more like a discussion, but I'll have some of my stuff, the answers to, because no company, when you say you want 70 buses and then you do 50, they may have some reservations, but we've already mentioned some of that stuff and we'll talk to them. They're anxious to do business with us.
Should we use like we did today, the time before, to like deep dive into any questions? They can kind of go over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't crowd the.
Plan for maybe 6 o'clock for that one?
Rosie, could I just ask a quick question? How many years are each one of these bids? How many years of
Well,
contract?
usually transportation, you'll be surprised. It's a 3-year bid, and then there are 2 1-year extensions. Okay. What has happened is you'll come across school districts renew every year because anytime you go out, they whack you with a higher increase. So schools are very hesitant on going out because there's close to a monopoly as you can get in transportation. But the minimum is 3 years and 2 1-year extensions. And if there is no request going forward after the 5th year, you don't have to go to a bid based on the state law as long as there's no other bid. And by December, if nobody's shown any interest, you can talk about renewing for 1 more year at a time. And I know the reason behind those questions. So the 3-year is a more or less planning time also if we do anything alternatively.
Sure, yeah, because we still would like to pursue the idea, of ever purchasing, leasing, at least the capital, the buses themselves. And so just don't want to be locked in for too
long.
many years to pursue that. Thank you.
I know you said that they may serve 214. Does Durham serve currently like anyone local or nearby?
They may serve, I said 214, what was the full?
Do they currently serve anyone local to us?
They serve District 300. There's a whole list of, they do Glenbard High School. They
300
do,
Carpentersville,
yes,
Algonquin.
that's a very large school district. They do West Aurora. So there is a list, complete list in the bid document, and we have all that stuff. And every reference, I checked every reference, and every reference is good reference. Now remember, we were very good reference, and Safeway did a very good job for us for the first 2 years. Our challenge was their financial condition. The drivers are well liked by our parents, feedback, and whenever there's a disruption, because some school districts paid a lot of money to change beginning of the year in August, September, October. Not only did they pay a lot of money, but they're experiencing the same problem. There is a big challenge in bus driver recruitment. It's not just the money. It's getting the right candidate. It's very difficult having a perfect driving record for many, many years, passing CDL exam, and very high standard. You get one ticket, you lose your job.
Do we have any idea how Durham is doing currently with staff retention?
The people I spoke to without talking to the drivers, the people who gave the reference, they are very pleased. So in our bid document, even in the new one as well as the old one, the Board of Education has made sure that we have 10 floating drivers, which we pay for in the bid. We have extra buses, which we paid for in the bid. Because when somebody says the bus is late, what happened to the other 10 bus drivers? The bus drivers didn't show up. So technically speaking, you're giving us grounds to terminate the contract. But when you terminate the contract, you need enough backup and enough vehicles to take on 70 buses. When we were looking at in August, the maximum we could find was 13 buses. And they were talking 5 tiers. The first pickup at 7 o'clock, or 6:30 for 7 o'clock start. And the last pickup was at 10 o'clock. That was not acceptable. So it's a very labor intensive, and that's why when you say equipment ownership, that gives some leverage. But there are many, many factors. Biggest factor is you don't want to add employee count. It's better to do an outsource staffing and district-owned capital equipment.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Mohsen.
Thank you.
Last discussion item, we have 8.03 is the staff device refresh.
Sorry, I went ahead and closed the window that had the meeting on it, so hang on one second. No, Mohsen, it's my fault. clearly you need to let me go as your permanent slide thing. It's a sad day for us all, but okay, give me one minute if you would. Apologies. Almost there. Well, I will just wing it for a minute because it keeps going back to the committee of the whole, so I'll need a minute. So this is the time where we are looking at our staff device refresh. We're following the student device refresh, which turned out to be a perfectly wonderfully wrong time for us to do a staff refresh because Apple just refreshed their line of MacBook Airs. The new devices, we just got our quote today, so I don't have this in the packet for you. But we did get the quote is $979 for the current version of the MacBook Air. So we had budgeted for $779 a device, which is what we have traditionally paid for our staff devices. So I will need a little bit of time. My hope is that I can get you updated numbers, see if we have other options. I've inquired about the previous generation model to see if that might still be available since this is just out. This is the new M5 version. So if I get an update, the difference between the price of these two devices of the current M5 they just released versus the previous model is $237,000. So if there is a way I can find some savings, I will do it. I will say that I've talked to staff, talked with the union, and staff are still interested in continuing with a MacBook for a device. So I would not necessarily recommend that we would look at a lower cost device like a larger Chromebook or something like that for staff. I think our staff still I know our staff still prefer the Mac, so I will work on updated costs on what that will be. The Apple also released a new Neo model, but that device runs on the iPhone chip. So I need to look into testing that to see if it would be equipped enough and be fast enough to handle our staff device or what our staff needs. So I will provide you with updated numbers. We will also do what we have done in the past where we offer staff the option to purchase their current device. The fair market price we're looking at right now is around $200. In the past, that has recouped us around $180,000 once we do that. So there is some return that we'll be getting back on that purchase, but it's just things, the price of RAM, price of devices has been going up quite a bit, especially over these last few months. So that's the landscape that we're looking at. Questions?
Yes. When you're talking about yes, that there is the new release, the new chips coming out, and new laptops, is that before, because there's expected price increase 20% on existing models. As from what I understand, because my company buys quite a bit of laptops, we're actually planning to buy ahead to avoid stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, planning, we'll see what happens. But like the price that you're quoting, is it, do you have any indication if it's a guaranteed for a specific number of a specific time, or if we don't buy it now, we're going to get hit with even higher price later?
Yeah, I will inquire of how long the quote is. Usually it's a 30 to 60 day quote is what they will hold the price on. So I will inquire with Apple. Since this model just released, I believe that they're going to hold this price steady at least for another 6 months since they already have inventory. These are all already in production and produced. So I will confirm that though to make sure that, so the cycle, so you know, we're looking to do similarly to what we did last year where we get approval now. but we don't issue payment until July 1. So this hits next year's budget. We can't receive any devices on hand. They cannot land in the warehouse prior to July 1. Otherwise, we have to account for it in this year's budget. So to your point, Lucas, we would want to make sure that we get that quote locked. And when we issue payments, it would be at this price that we get quoted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are we talking about the replacement of like all 1,100 laptops?
Yes.
So it's a full, it's basically one time for everyone at the same
For all staff, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, their current devices are definitely at the end of their life cycle. Batteries are running low. We're getting a higher incidence of repairs now. They're definitely ready to be replaced.
Are we still under warranty for the old ones?
No, the warranty you only get a 1-year limited warranty. We don't buy AppleCare because it doesn't make financial sense how much it costs versus how much we would recoup for it.
And what's our cycle? Is it 4 years or 5 years?
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would consider 5 years if we might end up, buying the newer model.
Yeah.
With expectation that it actually can survive 5 years.
Yeah, with the
Something to
M5.
consider, right?
Yeah, I think with the M5, we'd be in a better position to be able to do that. And the new devices also, the current only have 128 gigabyte hard drives, and the new ones are 512. So staff will see much better storage space on the new ones as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. If not, we can go on to our board reports. Who we got? Ms. Eddy?
So we had our safety meeting, kind of talking about the walkout and, the steps that are in place to keep our students safe. And this week, Sarah and I went to Friendship. We walked around, saw several different rooms with Mr. Wheatley. We saw advanced ELA, some ELA English language learners, 7th grade double accelerated math or algebra, 6th grade orchestra, and then, which was pretty neat to see, was level 1 content. They were working on science, talking about like a galaxy and trying to explain like in different languages, like what would a galaxy be, not just in English. So that was neat. And then we kind of got a little bit of feedback from our WOLT study on, different things that could potentially be fixed or needed in the years to come.
Just to add to, thank you to Mr. Wheatley for welcoming us and giving such an organized tour. I also want to give a big shout out to all the ELA teachers. I'm a former English teacher. I got to do that. They were working on an assignment in Sarah Hamilton's class that just really gave me the warm fuzzies. It's the kids are still engaging in argumentative writing. They're engaging in critical thinking. They're engaging in so important, especially in our current situation. So thank you and shout out to English teachers, especially Sarah Hamilton. Thank you for welcoming us to your class. I also just want to add that's officially my 15th school visit. So I've done, it took me a mere 3 years to visit all of our schools, but I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to everyone who has welcomed us over the last 3 years. And Tom for always being there to answer my myriad of questions. So yeah, that was an incredible visit, especially to see kind of like the range of instruction, especially accelerated. I feel like as a board, we don't really hear a lot about gifted and accelerated. So that was really, really interesting to see how far ahead, especially double accelerated math, those kids are going to be entering high school. It's pretty incredible. So thank you again to everyone for letting us see what you're doing.
Do you have anything else, or was that good?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to do it? Okay. We have had 2 D59 Foundation meetings since we last met. We discussed the standard items, their financial reporting, their grants, their scholarship. I also want to say thank you to the guest stars that were there to discuss various district partnerships we have. We had Rachel Jobski, we had Katie Ossel, and we had Ashley Robertson. And we also had our incoming superintendent, Dr. Galini, who attended while he was in town. So thank you to him. Thank you to Rachel, Katie, and Ashley. And thank you to Ben for always being there. And thank you also to the D59 Foundation. I just want to say if there's any teachers watching, still, and you want to do something innovative in your classroom, please apply for a grant through D59 Foundation. They are doing amazing things. So thank you as always to them.
Thank you. Mr. Chesney?
Yep, absolutely. So first, had a pleasure of joining Dr. Galini. Was it yesterday, right? Visited. I mean, it's busy days. Visiting Minor and John Jay. I think we had lots of fun. I very much enjoyed seeing how Dr. Galini interacts with teachers and principals, and definitely you can see hands-on very much. Thank you for the opportunity of joining you. For communications, we just had an update. Other than that, we'll have a meeting in April and potentially trying to see how we can revise board communications and help the board get better with programs like Adapt the School, which I know I have been one of the laggers in. The SEO, I sent everybody a long update on, was it Friday or was it, I think a couple days ago. The days are getting a blur, right? But please take a look at it. I mean, I don't think I need to read everything in it, but I mean, other than that, I mean, yes, they're working on the budget. We're still looking to see what's going to happen with the state. Just like us, they're still struggling with the same things like the inflations, the costs, the impact of the new negotiations, how it's going to impact the budget. It's all going on. So nothing finalized, but I mean, it's all being incorporated, and of course, it's still to be TBD. But already have we already have initial signals on and insurance, just like us. Everybody seems to be getting hit with quite higher rates. So that's just a general overview. I wanted to add one thing from the NSSEO meeting. I'm just gonna call it out to maybe our team, superintendent team. I know we've been all extremely busy this last few months. So I mean, I'm sure we didn't miss out on much, and probably would not be able to get to it anyway. But a couple of almost every single one of the NSSEO member districts, so it came from the meeting conversation, they started to look into adopting resolutions on how to help with things like ICE, whether it is the resolution on just policies, or I mean, district like 214 just voted on a resolution, and I have a copy if anybody wants it. They voted on a resolution that will help with both the policies and how they're acting, how they're reacting, and also, potentially non-enforceable, but potentially yes, depending on our attorneys, signage on whether or not our own parking lots can be used to set up stings, right? Which, I mean, of course, we cannot stop somebody coming in if they have a reason, but if you just set up a sting because you want to set up a sting, there might be an opportunity to have a little bit of a legal leverage. So I think it would be good for our team to look into it, and just start getting familiar, and maybe we can get ahead of the next wave in Chicago.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Buchler.
Sure. So first of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Nicole Robinson on her new role. She was my kids' principal for all three of my kids, and they loved her. Her energy, her positivity. Really looking forward to bringing that into the curriculum department. And I know one of the things when we hired Dr. Galini, that was is a huge strength of his is curriculum. So we've got a great tandem going here, and I'm excited for what you guys are going to do in the future. So congratulations. Also, congratulations to Mr. Greg Volan, our new business manager. Coincidentally, Lucas and I heard him present back in November at the school board conference downtown, and he was talking about this beautiful new school that he built along with his team that had some geothermal and solar panel systems for some energy efficiency, and we were very impressed, and this is great. So we're so happy to have you, and Nicole, congratulations as well. We love your passion for preschool, and we're looking forward to working with all three of you. So thank you. And then I just had one more thing. I also want to thank our staff for the time to complete the organizational health survey that was administered by Dr. Sharma Lewis. We're fortunate to have such an amazing staff here, and your feedback to Dr. Golini and this board, it's incredibly valuable. We don't take that for granted. There's always things that we can improve on, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time to share your thoughts. So thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Ms. Kitzinger?
I also had the pleasure of visiting Salt Creek with Dr. Galini. It was wonderful to see you in the building and interacting with the teachers, and we got to see a cool science experiment with melting some chocolate and then, seeing what it weighed when it was original, melted, and to its form, not melted. Reset. We did not get to eat it. I don't know if that would be good. She said she burned it. Not to throw her under the bus. We love you. So it was wonderful. I can't wait to visit more schools with you. And if there are openings tomorrow, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow. But
we were trying to go to Ridge, but I believe the principal is not going to be there. She has a training, so I'm not sure what we're going to do.
All right, well, keep me updated because now I'm free tomorrow. And I also wanted to welcome Greg. So excited for you to start. And Nicole's congratulations. I'm also a Nicole, so it's a good name. All right, thank you guys.
I think last, Ms. Notini.
Okay, I sadly don't have any adopt a school updates or visits with Dr. Golini, just recovering from my injury, but I'm almost there. You saw that I drove here today, so I'm hoping to get back up to speed. But I did want to just take a moment, and I'm hoping to do this whenever we have anyone from the community come speak to us. Sorry, I don't mean to be looking at you, Ms. Spanky. But I just want to acknowledge a few things. We always hear you, everyone who comes to the podium. Did want to acknowledge for the student walkout at Grove. We did have in our committee of the whole meeting, Dr. Ossel did talk a lot about what things, what plans were in play, worked, what didn't work. And that wasn't televised, so you can't watch it. But if you want to reach out to Dr. Ossel, I'm sure she could answer some of those questions. And also, I know that the parent has since left, but I'm so glad that she brought up the PACT test, because that is something this board is very interested in. We did request months ago the results for our district, because we do think that is a very important data point, and it does matter what happens to our kids. We want them to be successful for life. So it does matter. That data point definitely matters. So that is certainly something that is not lost on us, and we're going to be asking to follow that information. So thank you, everyone who came to the board. One other thing that we didn't have much time in our committee of the whole to discuss the continued kind of movement of our students from Brentwood and Devonshire to Frost. I wonder if, Tom, you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So we just had a second, just as a reminder to the board, actually to the community. So part of our plan a few years ago for as Brentwood became at capacity, we added addition to the building. We made a boundary change where a portion of the Brentwood boundary was shifted to Devonshire, and actually it was a closer to Devonshire boundary. And a decision was made to shift all the dual language Spanish students in the Friendship Cluster attend Frost. And actually the principal and assistant principal, Ms. Lau and Ms. Maggie, are here tonight. Good timing, to attend Frost. So we've really, each year an additional grade level has attended. Next year, it'll be up to fourth grade. And we're really, while there's space at Frost, there is an open space. So we'll have to make some shifts, move some things around. I think we can make it work. We recently, the cabinet members were at Frost for a visit. That was last week. Thank you. So there's some space. We'll have to move some staff around to make that work. But we are at the point where Next year it'll be 5 grade levels. The year after it'll be 6 grade levels. We do still have mobiles there for art and music. So I know long range planning is on hold, but at some point some decisions will have to be made. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to move things around, especially, the grades leaving Brentwood are 13. The grades coming into Frost are 35 to 40. So we're really seeing a different shift in the numbers of kids and going. And right now they're basically the same size schools: 350 at Brentwood, 347 at Frost. And I'm thinking next year we'll probably see more kids at Frost than we will at Brentwood.
And I know from talking with some of the staff at Frost, I know it's getting pretty tight, especially for those smaller learning spaces. So as we do our long range planning, that's something we'll have to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's why we wanted to throw it on the agenda tonight and brought it up here so we'd have a little more chance if there were any. We didn't really have a chance for questions or anything. So
Yeah, I just had a question. So you're saying the students who are currently at, like this year, are at Brentwood and Devonshire will move to Frost next year.
Any student at Devonshire lives in the Devonshire boundary area who qualifies for dual language Spanish automatically goes to Frost. Same thing for Brentwood in grades K through 3, and next year will be K through 4. So each year we've added another grade level. So right now Brentwood has kids who qualify for dual language Spanish in grades 4 and 5 still go to Brentwood.
Can we just let them stay there instead of having them go to Frost next year?
Well, then we'd have to revisit the plan. Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's a better way to explain it.
Our section, however, we added a section to accommodate those students 4 years ago, I want to say at this point, because they started in kindergarten. Devonshire, all the kids came over at once 4 years ago.
Okay.
Brentwood has been slowly rolling it up.
Thank you, Ms. Lau.
So they started in kindergarten, they rolled up to K1, K1 through 3, and then next year it was K1, 2, 3.
Okay, so it's not like we're just suddenly taking a group of kids from Brentwood every year and sending them to Frost.
And the Devonshire
Okay.
group was so small that it made sense to move all of the kids. And then all the families had the option to stay. We'd have to change the service program, but they did have the option to stay at Devonshire or Brentwood. And it really is the new group of kindergartners. If you qualify for dual language Spanish, you go to Frost.
Okay, so can we stop that?
So then we'd want to have a long range committee planning discussion, because the reality, and this is just the situation we're in, then we'd be here in 4 years saying, what are we going to do at Brentwood?
No, it's a larger, I understand it's a much larger discussion, but if there's an urgent need, which I'm guessing is why we're bringing it up now, maybe there's something we can just do.
Yeah. And I think then you're going to run back into, now you're going to have a teacher by themselves at Brentwood with a class.
Not as worried about that anymore.
Well, and then I think that's a great discussion for the spring. We can have with Dr. Galini when he's sitting in this chair.
Yep.
Because it's complicated, and I think those were the discussions we had, and how complicated some of our structures and things have, because we can make a short-term decision that might work for next year, and then do those kids go somewhere else in the future, or are they there forever? And trying to find one teacher for one grade level, and how many kids is it, and how does it work for Devonshire, and what if Frost still has 36 kids and still needs 2 sections, but there are 13 at Brentwood, and that's where the complications of all of this go. So we certainly can look at any option and any of those types of things. So that's the nice part about, we have flexibility, but at the same time, and again, Frost for next year has space. We just have to, when we had actions at Brentwood, they didn't even have a lounge. Frost still has a lounge, and they will next year. So they're not in hallways yet. So we have some options. It just makes sense to not forget, because we haven't brought it up for a while. That was my objective.
It's important. And is there some space at Brentwood now that we have an addition and the kids, are not, not all the kindergartners are coming?
I don't know that there are any open classrooms at Brentwood. I have not walked that building in that since the addition opened.
Well, I think we know, right? I mean, I guess I can look at the report that I get every every week, but
I think they're a 4-round school or right now on that. So we'd have to take a look. Again, we could analyze the whole entire cluster and see where things are at.
No, I think Michelle brings up
yeah, I
a
think
good
Ross
point.
is going to say something.
No, I just appreciate the conversation. And this connects to that slide I love to show you with all the little squares. When we spoke about this year, there are 2 dual language classes at Brentwood, 4th and 5th. And like Christy had shared, next year we'll roll up. So 5th grade will graduate and go out to the junior high. And then Brentwood will have just 1 5th grade next year. Next year, there is space. It is tight, but there's space. But to Tom's point, because I see the board really doing an amazing job of connecting all of these very complex things, and they are complex conversations, it's nice to connect the finance, the transportation, the enrollment, the sections, because for 27, 28 school year, if all of the conditions stayed the same as they are today, we would not have a physical space at Frost for that next class to roll up.
Yeah, and I'd really love to see, that's just my personal opinion, to see the students go to their neighborhood school when possible, not get on a bus, pay for a bus to go to Frost when we have room at Brentwood.
All right, thank you. That's it for open session. I just need a motion to go into closed session for items A through G.
So moved.
Second.
I'll say after closed session, we'll just come out to close the meeting.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we're going to go to Forest View tomorrow. If you'd like to join us at Forest View at 9 o'clock? Earlier, 8:30?
All right.
I'm ready now.
All right, good. Could we get a vote?
All right. Ms. Kitziger.
Was that me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Ms. Notini. Aye. Mr. Chesney.
Aye.
Mr. Buckler.
Aye.
I'm trying. Ms. Zach.
Aye.
Miss Eddie. Oh, aye. Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Is that it? All right,
Yes.
we'll be in closed session. We'll start at 30.